So this is some discussion points when you're talking to clients about a SBA 7A loan. And there's a few things to be aware of and to let them know. First of all, if they have a spouse, the spouse is going to have to sign personally. And if they don't want to sign, then they're going to probably have to have either a prenuptial agreement or they're going to have some sort of document where the spouse will waive their rights to the asset. So just a discussion point that they need to be aware of before going too far down the road. The other one is that on a 7A, the majority of the time, not always, they're going to put a second on somebody's home. And you say, what's that all about? Well, if someone buys a property for $1 million, they're going to automatically discount it by 15%. Could be more if it's a special purpose property. And so if the client's only coming with 10%, then there's going to be a deficiency of 5% there from the underwriting perspective that they're going to go ahead and tack a lien, a second on that person's home for that amount, if they have 20% or more equity in their home. If they don't, then they're not going to take it, or any other piece of real estate for that matter. They can't do it on 401ks, but there is a possibility if they have stocks and securities, they could take that as a lien as well. But most instances, it's a piece of real estate. There are ways around that if you talk to your manager, if they're more proactive. But that is something to talk to them about, and it's important for them to understand because that could be a point of contention for us being proactive with the client. The other thing to realize, it's a 5-3-1 prepay. So the prepay is for 3 years, so it's not that long. They typically do it off of prime, so it could be floating rate off of prime plus a spread, or the max they can do is 2 3/4 over prime. But that's important for them to understand as well. That loan is a full recourse loan. They're going to have to sign personally, and so is their spouse is going to have to sign personally as well. And anybody that has 20% or more ownership in that property. It's also important to understand that they're going to have to take 51% of the space. So if they don't, then it's not really eligible. So they have to occupy 51% of the space. If it's construction, it's 60, and then eventually going to 80 after about a year. So it's, again, you want to have these discussions with the client about that particular thing. CAVERS is a report that they'll pull to see if they've ever defaulted on any federal debt. So if you know of this or have that discussion, make sure you understand, because that can immediately kill the deal if they have defaulted on any federal debt at all. The SBA is a great product, but there are just things that you need to be aware of that could be points of contention if we're not clear in communicating that with the client. They're going to pay about, call it 3%, 2 3/4, 3% in fees off of 75% of the loan amount. So they do need to be aware of that. It does get rolled in the loan, but it is a fee nonetheless. So those are just some quick tips, tidbits for you to share with the client when they're doing a 7A